Hello all. I welcome you all in today's edition of Daily News Digest. Today I'm going to discuss some of the important article of the Hindu. The very first article that I'm going to discuss is related to the recent decision of Ukraine to halt transit of Russian gas to Europe. So in this article there are 4 or 5 points that you need to know for your exam point of for your exam. The very first point, that is there was a pre-war transit deal between Russia and Ukraine, and that deal got expired last year on 31st December 2024. And after that, the Ukraine is saying that now we are going to halt the this transit of the natural gas to the Europe from Russia. So in this article, you need to know how it is going to impact Europe. So in Europe, there will be the energy crisis because now till date, Russia was supplying up to 40% of the total energy needs of the Europe. So now that energy shortage will be there. Because of that, there may be energy crisis, plus there may be price rise. Or this price rise not only in Europe, but it is going to impact India as well. और बाकी जो nations है उन पे भी इसका impact पड़ेगा. As far as Russia is concerned, तो Russia is going to lose the market and it will incur a financial loss to Russia. तो रसिया पे कहीं ना कहीं मार्केट लूज करेगा और इट देयर विल बी सम फाइनेंशियल बर्डन ऑन रसिया. कहीं ना कहीं वो मार्केट नहीं जाएगा, उसका सेल नहीं होगा. देयर इज वन पॉसिबिलिटी, अल्टरनेटिव क्या है फॉर दैट. रशियन जो यूक्रेनियन प्रेसिडेंट जेलेंस्की है, ही इज सेइंग कि देयर इज पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ गैस फ्लो continuing provided if the payment to Russian were withheld until the war ends. What Zelensky is saying na ki okay, we will allow the transfer or transit of gas. However, the payment should not be made to the Russia. It should be on hold, and once the war is over, the concerned country can pay that money to the Russia. So this is the basic takeaway of this article. 5 points जो मेंस के आंसर राइटिंग में you can use. There is another very important editorial, and that is talking about the tackling delimitation by reversing population control. So why this article is news na, because some of the southern state, mainly अगर हम बात करें Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, they are trying to increase their population growth rate by giving some sort of incentive to their population. Reason क्या है? Reason है the upcoming delimitation जो exercise है, that may reduce their overall parliamentary seats, because as we know, the seats in the parliament is divided on the basis of population. एंड दिस स्टेट मेनली सदर्न स्टेट है, जिसमें हम तमिलनाडु और केरला की बात करें और आंध्र प्रदेश की बात करें, तो दिस स्टेट हैज परफॉर्म रियली वेल इन फैमिली प्लानिंग. एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट देयर टोटल फर्टिलिटी रेट जो है ना, वो बिलो एवरेज है, जो नेशनल एवरेज है उससे कम है. तो कहीं ना कहीं स्टेबिलिटी इज देयर इन देयर पॉपुलेशन. ऑन द कंट्रारी, दूसरे साइड की बात करें कि जो नॉर्दर्न स्टेट्स है, दे आर बूमिंग विद द पॉपुलेशन, तो they may get some sort of advantage in terms of parliamentary seats. So because of that, the southern states are trying to reverse this policy, or they are trying to promote the population growth in their states. So for that, the state government of Andhra Pradesh, they have made a provision ki if you have less than two children, if you have less than two children, or you cannot participate in the local bodies election. In order to participate in the local bodies election, you need to have more than two children. तो ये कहीं ना कहीं restriction they are imposing on the citizens. As far as तमिलनाडु की बात करें, तो वहां का जो सीएम उन्होंने कहा, today as there is a scenario of decreasing Lok Sabha constituencies, it raises the question, why should we restrict ourselves to having fewer children? जब this fewer children, because of this fewer children, if we are losing seats in the parliament, our overall participation in the democratic system, overall participation in federalism is going to be weak. Why should we follow this policy? Because of that, this statement was released by the CM of the Tamil Nadu. So in the next part of the article, there is one question ki will this incentive that these states are promising to the citizens will going to help them in increasing the population? तो फॉर दैट देयर इज सम एग्जांपल, फॉर एग्जांपल यहाँ पे चाइना की बात की गई है कि कहाँ जो चाइना की वन चाइल्ड पॉलिसी है, after that now China government is trying to increase the overall population of the state, but they are not getting the kind of response that was supposed to. तो यहाँ पे एक पॉइंट निकल के आया गया है कि जो इट इज एविडेंट दैट द attainment of low fertility in course of fertility transition is hardly reversible by intervention. This means कि through intervention we have not seen the reversal of this trend. So it will be very hard for the southern state to promote this population growth through the incentive. There is another point that this article has. There are attempts being made in some countries to reverse the fertility trend through incentivization, but to no effect. The same thing I was saying, it is hardly, we have seen hardly such success in the, international practice. यहाँ पे चाइना की वन चाइल्ड वन पॉलिसी की बात की गई है कि how after this China is trying to promote the population growth, but they are not getting the kind of response. फिर यहाँ पे एक दूसरी बात आर्टिकल में आया कि क्विक एंड फोर्स रेगुलेटरी मेजर्स टू रेस्ट्रिक्ट रिप्रोडक्शन हैव नेवर पेड डिविडेंड्स बियॉन्ड रेस्ट्रिक्टिंग पॉपुलेशन काउंट्स. इट वाज सीन इन द चाइनाज केस कि फोर्स रेगुलेटरी जो मेजर्स उन्होंने लिया वन चाइल्ड वन चाइना पॉलिसी, दैट ओनली रिजल्टेड इन पॉपुलेशन जो काउंट है दैट गॉट रेस्ट्रिक्टेड, नथिंग एल्स अचीव्ड बाय द चाइना. फिर यहाँ पे एक दूसरी पॉइंट आता है कि efforts at incentivizing reproduction and adoption of a pro-natal policy, population policy may not be as alternative as in the countries such as Japan and South Korea. South Korea and Japan tried to increase their overall population through a pro-natal population policy. However, they didn't got that receive the kind of success उन्हें भी नहीं मिला. तो फिर in the third part of this article, article is saying कि varied population count in context of India, there is wide, you can say कि variation in when it comes to the population. Northern states में comparatively very high population, southern states में relatively stable population है. तो in this context, the article is saying कि population count between provinces may not be the appropriate criteria to have political representation. तो in such scenario जहां पे there is a wide variation, the policy of sharing the seats on the basis of population is not practical. The article is saying it is going to have negative consequences when it comes to family planning. और कहीं ना कहीं it will also disturb the federal structure of our nation, because some states are losing seats, some states are getting higher seats, higher representation in the parliament. Along with that, this policy has some impact on women, because the women is the one who will bear the burden of having more children. तो यहाँ पे आर्टिकल बात करता है ये women's personal loss in engaging in reproduction is much greater than imagined given the state approach in facilitating the same. कहीं ना कहीं the burden that we are thinking कि okay through this policy will increase the population good, but it is going to impact women the most. The level of impact that we are thinking, it is going beyond that also. तो फिर यहाँ पे बात की गई है कि thinking about fertility reversals need to be proceeded by a measures of guaranteeing the state social support to women for the additional child on the one hand and the compensation for women and engagement in reproduction on the other. तो यहाँ पे बात करता है कि state need to provide social support to women for having one extra additional children. Along with that, there should be some sort of incentive because of the women's engagement in reproduction system. तो यहाँ पे support की बात की गई है इस article में. And the third thing this article is saying in the last part कि जो crisis है, it can be tackled through the migration. However, this migration is going to help in tackling the problem of you can say कि aging population, workforce, but the political thing that the state is demanding is not going to be fulfilled by this migration. Also, we can provide the required number of workforce through the migration, but the migrant people will be the people of the state of their origin. तो कहीं ना कहीं उनकी जो political representation होगी वो अपने state में ही होगी. तो through this migration we can check it, but we cannot provide the solution of the political issue that the states are highlighting. So in the last part of the article is saying the ultimate solution lie in the reversing fertility, but not in the reversing fertility, but in reversing count based political representation in the delimitation exercise. तो ये आर्टिकल कहता है कि वी नीड टू चेंज आवर पॉलिसी, है ना. वी डोंट नीड टू रिवर्स आवर फर्टिलिटी, but we need to reverse the policy of representation on the basis of delimitation. जो exercise होती है जिसमें हम head counts करते हैं, count based जो political representation है, we need to reverse that, because all the concern that is raised by the southern state is related to the political representation of those states in the parliament. So this is the basic takeaway of this article. Very good article है, आप इससे क्वेश्चन मेंस में एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, I have made a question on this article. Discuss the challenges posed by the delimitation exercise in context of population disparities among the Indian states. जो इस आर्टिकल में बात की गई है southern और northern में जो disparity है उसकी. With a focus on the implication of federalism and socio-economic equality. Yes, the political representation की भी बात की गई है. Analyze the role of fertility rates, family planning policy, and gender equity in shaping political representation. So we have very good content in the this article. On the basis of that, you can write this answer. Your answers will be evaluated at evaluation@ksgindia.com. And this is all from my side. Second part of the Hindu will be discussed by Gaurav sir. Thank you all.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Daily News Digest. Today is 2nd of January and we have some important articles to be discussed from today's edition of The Hindu. So let's begin. So the very first article is all about the SpaDeX mission, which we had discussed 2 days before also. And it is very important pertaining to your prelims paper from the point of view of your science and tech questions coming. So the news is all about the SpaDeX, first of many as ISRO prepares for Chandrayaan 4. So ISRO is also preparing for Chandrayaan 4 mission, and this docking exercise that SpaDeX mission has exhibited will also be tested in this Chandrayaan 4 mission. So there will be a series of space docking experiment before the Indian Space Research Organization embarks on the Chandrayaan 4 mission to bring soil samples from the moon to the earth, the ISRO has said. Now, Chandrayaan 4 mission is important as it will bring lunar soil to the earth. So it's become very important. Then, and on Monday, we all know that on a C-60 mission by a PSLV rocket, not GSLV, by a PSLV rocket, the ISRO placed 2 satellites, each weighing 220 kg in orbit. We know that one is named Chaser, one is named Target, and they will rendezvous and dock with each other as a part of ISRO's first space docking experiment. So it is ISRO's first space docking mission, and it places ISRO in the elite list of some countries. Only some countries has masters this art of docking in sky. Okay, so ISRO chairman S. Somnath has said that the nominal time for docking will be approximately around January 7. And he further added that the 2 SpadeX satellites have moved one behind other, that they are chasing each other, that they are like one behind other. So over a period of time, they will pick up further distance, and distance will be more than 20 kilometers at one point of time. And after that, both will start coming together to each other and dock with each other. So why this space docking mission is important for India's future missions? It is important because we aspires to launch our space station also, and as you know, you cannot launch space station in one go. You have to launch small modules, and then small modules will get assembled with each other. So that's why exhibiting this technology, mastering this technology is important. So for Chandrayaan 4, the ISRO will launch the mission module in two launch vehicle. That is, it will be GSLV. It will be launched by GSLV vehicle Mark 3. So point to be noted that two satellites will be launched by different rockets, not the same rocket. So it is a potential question. At various points during the mission, the modules will undergo a series of docking and undocking maneuvers before finally transporting a canister of lunar soil safely back to the Earth. So point to be noted in this is that this Chandrayaan 4 mission will exhibit two technologies. One is like docking and second is returning soil from moon to earth. For that you need to have a rocket that has potential to re-entry into earth orbit, so it's also become important now. Mr. Somnath, ISRO's chairman, has further said that 2025 will be exciting year as ISRO will launch 4 GSLV rocket, 3 PSLV rocket, and other things. But key for the future mission, this SpaDeX mission paves way for the future missions, and its success will really place and harness ISRO's potential further. So docking is a crucial technology for India to master for Chandrayaan 4 as well as for forthcoming orbital Bharatiya Antariksh Station expected to be ready by 2035. Okay. So Chandrayaan 4 study director P. Veera Muthaval said that docking is important for all future missions of the ISRO because you cannot launch everything in one go that we have discussed just before. So you need docking of modules in space. There will 5 modules of the BAS, Bharatiya Antariksh Station. So it is important fun fact, all of which require docking. This technology is crucial for bringing back the lunar soil samples and for India's constant presence in the space. So it's a very holistic article. And then other thing is mentioned about SpadeX mission, which we had discussed in details 2 days before also. So it is very important article. Now moving to the next article, it is about the groundwater pollution. So excessive nitrates found in groundwater in 440 districts. So excessive nitrates have been found in groundwater in 440 districts as of on 2023, an increase which increased from 359 of such district in 2017. A report given by Central Groundwater Board. So which who has given such report? The Central Groundwater Report. It may be said that it is given by Central Water Commission, but Central Groundwater Board. Okay. So data suggests that about 50% of India's district have excessive nitrates, defined as more than 45 milligram per liter in groundwater, largely due to the use of subsidized synthetic nitrogenous fertilizer, a key input for the farming. So what are the reasons for such a surplus, high level of the nitrates in groundwater? The reason is the high intake of urea. Urea, all you know, is a nitrogenous fertilizer. Government subsidizes it rates, and it is used in more than surplus quantity, and it then is metabolized in the various nitrogenous form. You should know that there is a metabolism of nitrogen in the soil. First of all, it converts from nitrate, it converts to nitrite, then to ammonia, and then to nitrogen. So it's you should know about the metabolism of nitrogen in the soil. So and further, the states having bearing the brunt of this nitrogen pollution are Rajasthan, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu reported the highest nitrate contamination problem with 49%, 48%, and 37% respectively of their tested samples reporting numbers beyond the safe limit. Then Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat have long-standing nitrate problem with relative levels fairly constant since 2017. This report by Central Groundwater Board says, however, region in central and southern India are reporting an increasing trend. For that, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Gujarat have more sort of constant level, but it has increased in central and southern India. Now, you can ask what the nitrate pollution pose threat for the human. You should know, you must have heard a term, blue baby syndrome. Okay. So this nitrate binds to hemoglobin, reduces the carrying capacity of the hemoglobin, and the blood then turns blue because in want of oxygen. Oxygen is not in sufficient supply for your body, as this nitrate substitute oxygen from the hemoglobin and binds the globin element of the hemoglobin, and thus the blue color comes because of lack of oxygen. That's, and it is fatal for the child also, and fatal for anybody. So other major chemical contaminant affecting groundwater quality are fluoride and uranium. So this article is also citing other contaminants as well. Fluoride contamination exceeding the permissible limit are major concern in Rajasthan, Haryana, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana. Rajasthan and Punjab together uh, reported, this report has said that the highest number of samples with uranium concentration exceeding how much? 100 parts per billion. Ab anything above 30 parts per billion of uranium is considered unsafe, and several of these samples were predominant in the region of like Rajasthan, Gujarat, Haryana, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh. You should remember these states because question may ask. And where groundwater is being over exploited, with more water being drawn out than is being replenished. So reason for such like high uranium content in groundwater is like because you are drawing too much of groundwater. So it is you can see in the region where you have excessive let's say uh, irrigation or groundwater depletion, and it is not replenished by the rainwater, and you have reached to a limit where water has reached to a limit of like bottom of rocks, which is rich in the minerals. That's why it leach out in the water also. That's why you have more you extract the water, more water will go down, reach the bottom layer of rocks, from where these minerals will leach out in the water, and then eventually it comes out to us. In the accompanying report on the availability of groundwater across India, Central Groundwater Board estimates that on a whole, the stage of groundwater extraction across the country is 60% constant through many years. About the 73% of blocks analyzed for the groundwater levels are in safe zone, meaning they are replenished enough to be compensate for the water drawn out. And also in one of section, it is mentioned that this nitrate pollution also tend to increase uh, in the monsoon season. Rainwater, we all know, because of air pollution, we have nitrogenous pollution hanging in the air. It mixes with the water and causes acid rain. That's also aggravates this problem of the nitrate pollution in the groundwater, because this rainwater percolates to the groundwater and causes more of nitrate pollution. So data is given that monsoon rain tends to increase nitrate level with 30.77% of samples contaminated in the pre-monsoon period when compared to 32.66 after rainy season. So this can be cited of the reason what can be cited for this is like because of rainwater containing nitrogenous pollutants, which mixes with rainwater and causes acid rain, which percolates down to the groundwater. So it's a very good article, and I feel it's a very important for a subjective question, particularly coming from like environment section or maybe geography sections also. So let's see what question can be found from today's edition of these articles. So with reference to ISRO's Chandrayaan 4 mission, consider the following statement. Chandrayaan 4 will involve two modules launched on two separate LMV-3 rockets. It's a correct statement. The mission goals include bringing lunar soil samples back to Earth through a series of docking and undocking maneuvers. It's also correct. Chandrayaan 4 is expected to play a key role in establishing the Bharatiya Antariksh Station. It is not uh, correct statement as such, because it is a SpaDeX mission which paves the way, which will show. Not Chandrayaan 4 will be like follow-up mission like that of the SpaDeX mission, where this docking exercise will be done, and its main mission is to bring back the soil from the lunar surface to the Earth. So its main mission is that, not like a key role in establishing Bharatiya Antariksh Station. So statement only 1 and 2 are correct. Now coming to the second articles, which I found very holistic for a point of view of a subjective questions. So critically analyze the implications of the excessive nitrate contamination in the groundwater across India, discuss its causes, regional variations, and potential impacts on public health, agriculture, suggest strategies to address this challenge while ensuring sustainable groundwater management. So, guideline for answer, you can see in the briefly explain the issue of nitrate contamination in groundwater, citing statistics from the article. Okay. And then in further, you can write discuss the major causes of the nitrate contamination, emphasizing the role of subsidized synthetic fertilizers, particularly urea, and then highlight regional disparity आप बता सकते हैं, explain the health implication particularly for the children, although it was not mentioned. We discussed that because of nitrate pollution blue baby syndrome can happen, address the correlation between groundwater over exploitation and other contaminants such as fluoride and uranium, and then you can conclude provide actionable solution including sustainable agriculture practices, stricter fertilizer regulation, better groundwater monitoring, and public awareness campaigns. So it is all from these two articles from today's edition of Daily News Digest. Thank you for watching, and we hope to meet you tomorrow as well. Thank you.